Yo, what's up? This your boy Derek Branch here of Saint Discussions on Strike Summer Sports. And today I just want to talk about the report that came out today, from Bleacher Report as aggregated by Saints Wire and their top writer, John Sigler. And this is an interesting piece. It's June, and you know how it is, man. And if you're a content creator, journalist, media member, blogger, got you on site. Keep coming up with all kind of ideas, trade ideas, projections, power rankings, fantasy rankings, top 100 players, top 50 players, the top 10 at this position. You know how it is. But anyways, man, just want to talk about what John Sigler put out, as told by a writer from the NFL writer from the Bleach Report, suggesting that the Saints should make a move for Daniel Hunter. And Sigler has titled this article, Saints would be foolish to turn down this Bleach Report trade proposal. So I'm just going to just read what was said in the story from by Sigler, as told by John Sigler. Yeah, it's June, and a lot of NFL writers are bringing home the bacon by speculating on trades that probably won't happen. But it's fun, right? And Bleach Report has no shortage of that kind of content. We quickly shot down one of the previous trade ideas for New Orleans Saints offensive lineman James Hurst here. Yeah, you should, because if you trade James Hurst, you be in a world of hurt, in my opinion. Crazy as that sounds. Anyways, but we're on the other side of the equation this time. If the Saints were offered this trade proposal from Bleacher Report's Maurice Moton, New Orleans would be foolish to turn it down. Here's how the Saints could acquire Minnesota Vikings pass rusher Danielle Hunter. Saints. All right, so the Saints will get this Danielle Hunter, and Minnesota will receive the Vikings. Well, not Minnesota. No, sorry, Minnesota will get the Saints' second round pick for 2024 and Peyton Turner. All right, so we can finish up. Bailing on a former first round pick would be disappointing, but that's the word to describe Turner's career so far. He's missed too many games with injury, and hasn't played well enough to get in the lineup at times when healthy. A change of scenery might be good for him. And the Vikings just signed Marcus Davenport in free agency, which has the Saints projected to receive a fourth round compensatory pick in the 2024 NFL draft. So another way of looking at this trade, would be swapping Davenport Turner, and next year's second round choice for Hunter and a 4 round selection. That's a fair deal, according to Ziegler. Here's some of what Moton wrote in this trade idea. Quote, this offseason, second year general manager Kwesi Adolfo Mensa parted ways with or didn't re-sign multiple veterans, including Dalvin Tomlinson, Zadarius Smith, Eric Kendricks, and Patrick Peterson. As for Danielle Hunter, his contract avoids in 2024. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the three-time Pro Bowl defensive end hasn't seen eye to eye with the team on a new contract. Per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, teams have acquired about his availability. And for Massa doesn't have a strong allegiance to roster holdovers from the previous regime. Though Hunter has proved he is worth a big money deal with at least 10.5 sacks in 3 of the last 4 seasons, he may not get a lucrative extension offer from the current Vikings front office. Though this move will hurt the Vikings defense in the short term, the club may continue to move on from veterans close to or older than 30 years old. In this case, for an early round pick and a younger player, Hunter will turn 29 years old in October. The Saints need an edge rusher to complement Jordan, who's going into his age 34 turn. Ironically, they let Marcus Davenport walk in free agency, and he signed with the Vikings. Turner has turnip upside, but he's only suited up for 13 games in 2 seasons because of injuries. As a rookie second rounder, Isaiah Foskey is an unknown commodity. Typically, defensive players don't move the needle in division races, but the addition of Hunter, New Orleans could fill one of the league's stingiest defenses, and a balanced roster. So, end quote from Moten. All right, so Sigler finishes up with the story. Hunter fits the athletic prototype. The Saints look for at defensive end. He's listed at 6'5" and 263 pounds with 34-inch arms. He produced 76 quarterback pressures last season. Pro Football Focus, charting more than Davenport 34 and Turner 13 combined. He'll turn 29 in October and is in the middle of his athletic prime. Plus, he has a lot of fans in Louisiana after playing college football with the LSU Tigers. If he's available, the Saints are looking to acquire him. Even if he'll need a lucrative contract extension after a trade, just don't expect Minnesota to part ways with him so cheaply. All right, so those are the words of Saints Noir.com's head writer John Siegler. So, um, is that a fair trade? You give up a second round pick and Payne Turner in return for the services of Danielle Hunter. I think so. I think so. I think that's a fair trade. But um, should we give up on Peyton Turner so soon? You know, first round pick. Um, I mean, he's had his injury. He's has his issues. Has had his issues. One week, you'll hear him. He's not on the injury report, but he's just a healthy scratch. So he wasn't hurt. He just not suiting up. Then he'll come back like 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, and he's playing again. He'll make a big play or two, and he'll go back out of the lineup for another injury. So I think excuse me. I think that patience is probably running thin in the Saints coaching staff, front office, and some certain coaches are, they gotta have their guys in the on their team, the guys they choose on their team to be a part of their franchise, and I don't know what was the like the agreement and all that between Peyton when Sean Payton was here and Dennis Allen on that pick and Jeff Holland, but you know this may be one of those guys that Dennis Allen may be ready to move off from, move on from. You know what I'm saying? Um, the pick, right? Looking at it now, the pick looks like a reach. You know what I'm saying? Because then when the time when they took Peyton Turner, I had heard of the name before a few times, but I didn't think he was on the Saints' radar. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he would have gone the second, third round, but lo and behold, he was the Saints' first round pick in that first draft after Drew Brees. Drew Brees, walking away. So there's that. But Danielle Hunter, he does fit the Saints prototype in regards to those defensive ends that they highly covered. 6'5", 263 pounds, long arms, got some size to him, meat, big guy. They can't have the 3, 4 guys, the lanky, linebackers, edge rusher types. That's not the Saints prototype. The Saints prototype is guys like Danielle Hunter, you know. And so he has a lot left in the tank, but then again, he's had some injuries in his career, that's kind of kept him sidelined. I think he was out not last year, but the season prior to that with that back injury, but I think we've had our share of injured stars that can play, and it would suck if we get this guy and another injury pops up, and we send Payne Turner down to, you know, Minnesota, and things start to click with um, the guy who used to coach the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, Brian Flores. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. Brian Flores, along with Marcus Davenport. That would A lot of the Saints folks would be upset, including myself, if that had to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's a. I mean, if you ask me, I would sign Yannick Ngakwe, the free agent defensive end, over Danielle Hunter. You know, that way you may spend a little money, a little 1 year deal to sign him instead of. I'll prefer that compared to giving up an asset, a draft asset, and a young player that's on a cheap contract. You know, to acquire somebody that has who's a proven talent, a proven commodity, Pro Bowl player, but that injury history concerns me. You know, because he's a really good player when he's healthy. Danielle Hunter, don't get me wrong, is a really good player. So I see the vision. I see, what Moten, the writer of the from the Bleacher Report, was talking about when he brought this up. But man, the Saints is the biggest. One of the biggest hurdle, one of my biggest concerns for the black and gold this year is health, man. Because if this team could stay healthy for, I would say, 80% of the season, 75 to 80% of the season, or even 90% of the season, on both sides of the football, offense and defense, this team could no ain't no telling what this team can do. You know, so while I like the move, I won't mind it. I have my issues with it, my doubts, and my concerns with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, he'll most likely be a one. I mean, is this guy? Is this a player that you want to keep here long term? He's 28 years old, turns 29 soon in October. So is this somebody you want long term? You know what I'm saying? You want to commit dollars to? You know what I'm saying? Or you want to continue to go to the draft and find that next great, defensive end to take over for Cam Jordan? So something to think about. But I think it's a fair trade. But I would try, to sign Yannick Ngakwe if the money is right. The money is, fair on both sides. So we'll see how it play out. All right, I want to say what it is. So today, the CBS Sports put out their annual top 100 NFL's top 100 player list that pretty much every publication comes out with. I did it last year. I usually, I did it for two straight seasons. Last year I did kind of separated it. I kind of did the quarterbacks, their own rankings. There are 32 quarterbacks on my website, Strike Seven Sports. But this year, and then I did excuse me, I did a top 100 player list, but non QBs. No QBs was on the list. It was about players that didn't play quarterback. So this year, we will probably break it down by position. You know, more positions I'm focusing on this year will be top 32 wide receivers and top 32 defenses. But anyways, man, it's these lists, you come out every time. To me, they put they have I'm not trying to sound like a homer or anything like that, but they kind of screw the Saints over sometimes. They kind of ranked them too low, in my opinion. But this Pete Briscoe's top 100 players for 2023, and you're gonna have Mahomes at the top of the list. Mahomes, Josh Allen, Burrow, Nick Bosa, Miles Garrett, Travis Kelce, Justin Jefferson, Michael Parsons, AD, Aaron Donald, Trent Williams in his top 10. But for the Saints, he has three players on here, and they're all in the lower tier. They're at the bottom of the list, in my opinion, at 71. Then starting at 71. Just give me a second, real quick. Yeah, so at 71 to 80, you see Chris Olave, headlining that list, his image. So he has Chris Olave at 72. Um, I mean, I guess it's fair for having him on the list. I didn't think Olave would. I felt like Olave didn't do enough to get put on the NFL's top 100 list. You know, it's among the 100 best players in the league for 2023. But he has him on here. So he wrote that in only 9 starts, he had 72 catches and averaged 14.5 yards per catch. He was by a concussion last season. Otherwise, he might have been the league's offensive rookie of the year. That's true. That's true. He would have got it over Gary Wilson if he hadn't got that suffered. I think he was out for 2 games for that concussion he suffered against the Seahawks, but his numbers would have been a lot better. And quarterback play was spotty last year. So and then he has, I'm gonna keep scrolling down. 81 through 90. He has Alvin Kamara is the other player that's on this list. You know, he's still that guy, man. He's in previous years, 2 years ago, I had like when my top 50 player list. I think Alvin Kamara was in my top 10. He was my top 10 player. Top 10, top 15, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and the final player he had on this list, I'm gonna keep going down. There's three. There's two. Let's see. Give me a second, real quick. So this got Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave as his. I think Marshawn Lattimore was on this list. But I was told that it was 2 players, 3 players, but I only see 2 from the Saints. But I think that's those spots. These for what those players done. Olave and um you know Olave and Kamara. That's fair. You know Alvin Kamara could go up a little higher. Because of what he brings to the table for the Saints, and when you have a really a functional quarterback, he can be a real threat to a team, to a defense, an opposing defense, a headache. Now, why Lattimore is on this list is beyond me. Lattimore should be on this list, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because when Lattimore is healthy, I think he a top 15 player in the league, more preferably the top 10, in my opinion. Lattimore's a top 10 player. He's that good. You know, he don't get a lot of interceptions, but that doesn't even matter because he pretty much shuts down the side of the field that he's on. That's how special Marshawn Lattimore is. And not too many teams can say they have a pure shutdown corner. Not too many. Cause I mean, man, this basically, in my opinion, my viewpoint, man, it's just really like I would say at least 5 to 7, shut down corners in the league right now, and Marshawn Lattimore is one of them. You know what I'm saying? So far, I just see two. I'm scrolling and I just see 2 Saints on the list. You know what I'm saying? 2 Saints. You know, I don't see Lattimore on here at all. Oh, well, my bad. I'm tripping. My apologies. Yeah, it's the third guy right here, the Honey Badger, Tyron Matthew. He came in at 81 on the list. I'm surprised to see him on here though. But once he got settled in his role with the team, he was a really good player for the Saints last year for the defense. So hopefully he can pick up from where he left off at the end of last season to close out 2022 and um, be a better player than what he was. From the start to the middle of the season to the finish. Because we saw what he can do. when they utilize him the right way. Because they had him playing like against, they kind of had him playing in this role where he's, going up against tight ends and stuff, trying to play against the run and all this other stuff. And he was kind of like they had to use they had to utilize him like similar to how they utilize him in Kansas City. Where he was like a rover. You know what I'm saying? Instead of he was playing a box safety role. Like to me, when he first started off with the team. So there you have it. You got Tyron Matthew, 81. Alvin Kamara on the list. You got Chris Olave, 72. And Alvin Kamara. That's it. And Alvin Kamara at 88. Those are your three New Orleans Saints players that made CBS Sports NFL Top 100 list for 2023. Top 100 players. So in regards to the report on Hard Knocks, they're saying that this is the recent stories that Hard Knocks may not force the Saints to be a part of the production for this season. So that's a lot of people. I did a poll on this today on my the same discussions, not a poll, but like a post, with the Hard Knock graphic and the Saints logo next to it. And a lot of who that's, were against it. They're kind of thinking that it was a distraction. And, pointing back to the fact that a lot of teams that were featured on Hard Knocks don't usually perform well. And to me, I respect everybody's opinion, all that. And that's how you feel. That's how you feel. But I just think that teams, if you're not gonna be, I don't think Hard Knocks is gonna drag the team that much to a point to where they're not good. It's kind of like a superstitious type thing to me that people have with Hard Knocks, but I don't think that has nothing to do with it. I mean, look at Detroit. Detroit didn't go to the playoffs. Well, Detroit almost made the playoffs last year. Detroit had their best season since 2016, since 2017, last year, and they were on Hard Knocks. And I think the year prior to that, the Cowboys were on Hard Knocks, and they made the playoffs that year. So I really don't think that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the problem of you're gonna be distracted. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to, based on what I heard as well, that they would like Detroit to be featured on the program for the second straight season. So it is what it is, man. And McGlack Saints fans may get their wish. And Dennis Allen, being on Hard Knocks, I just don't think, I could be wrong on this, but I don't think he has the personality to be, on a camera, have a camera in front of him, all day doing sessions and all that. And from what I've heard, is that the Saints don't want no part of Hard Knocks. They didn't want no part of it when Sean Payton was here, and expect that to continue under Dennis Allen. So we'll see everything play out. I believe today was the final day of minicamp, and now they go on to their break, summer break, and get ready for training camp, which starts in July, and that's when the real intensity begins. So we'll see everything plays out. Hopefully, nobody that gets injured, seriously injured, things like that, especially to the key positions like quarterback, wide receiver. Michael Thomas hopefully continues his rehab, his um, path to returning to the team, to the lineup, and hopefully everything goes well with no drama. So we'll see. All right, so that's all for right now. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. Do you want the Saints to be on Hard Knocks or no? Also, how you feel about the idea of trade for Danielle Hunter? You think the compensation is fair? Also, check out SaintDiscussions.com for latest content on the New Orleans Saints organization. Have a blessed night. Peace. I'm out. Who that?